What's up, guys? We're back. I didn't know I was doing the intro there for a second. So this one is new. Josh introduced it to me, so he'll introduce it to you.
All right. So if you've read the title, you know what it is, but I will do the introductions. So this is The Way of the House Husband. This is by somebody that I can't pronounce the name of. But this is a comedy manga. It's more in line to some of the other stuff we've covered, like, Plus Size Elf, Love is War, Psyche, all that kind of stuff where it's skip-based / episodic. This one centers around a legendary Yakuza member. He was like the baddest of the bad on the streets, toppled thousands of legends, and now he is living his life as a simple house husband, taking care of his house and his wife. And it's basically just his, daily routine, going through what it means to be a house husband, and also coming across people that still know him as the immortal dragon, which is great. But there's around, I think, 3 characters that are showcased primarily. There's some that, are like throwaway characters, or maybe are going to be side characters that pop in every once in a while. But for the most part, it centers around 3 characters. You're going to have Tatsu. Hope I'm saying that right. He's the main guy. He's the immortal dragon. You got Masa, which is kind of like his, what would you call him? He's not a lackey, and he's not like a sidekick, but he's just like kind of this, wide-eye recruit that wants to learn the ways of this guy and all of the stuff that he can do. So you have him kind of tagging around. They kind of have a relationship that I would classify as like Genos and Saitama in One Punch.
Yeah, where he's always behind and trying to figure him out.
Yeah, and he's like, teach me your ways, master. And then the very last character is obviously the husbandman's wife, which is Miku. So, which I think she's pretty adorable in this one.
Yeah, there's hints to the backstory of how they met in this volume, which is kind of cute. So we'll kind of see how he's changed. I think that'll be a major thing that we'll see in the future.
Yeah, and I guess one other kind of like glimpse into like what this book kind of entails, just to give you an idea. So like there's like one where he has to go to Anime Land, I think it is, and has to give his wife a B-Day present. And then there's also a little bit of confrontation / disciplinary action towards a Roomba. There's disposing of, I think, a toy body that gets mercilessly mutilated. And then there's a couple other like bonus manga in there. But I don't know. You can tell me what you think, Michael. But to me, there is a plethora, right? I think there's probably no denying that there's a plethora of this formulaic or this formula of story, especially in manga. So a little disappointed when I first got it, because I thought it would be a little bit more serialized and have more of like a, it's comedy, but it does have a story that's going to be going forward. It's not. So that was slightly sad on my part for not knowing that beforehand. But I think what was showcased in there was pretty funny. I think they know the concept, or they've thought the concept through pretty well. So you get to see the range of necessarily, or where they might take this series going forward, focusing on the different aspects. I don't know if necessarily they showed too much of their hand, because there was some stuff that I feel like maybe it would have been nice to see a little bit more of expanding upon certain things that were in there, certain stories. But I think one thing that made this stand out a little bit more in terms of this formula of story, because there's a lot of them out there. So I think, you're probably going to pick and choose, or you're probably just tired of them, or you want to have like a reason to go with this one. And I think this is one in like, out of the ones that we've covered, at least, that seems like all of the little stories, or like the bottle episodes, are all on the same par. Like across the board, I thought they were all pretty funny. I didn't think there was one necessarily that was funnier than the other. I just thought all of them were pretty great, which in some of the other ones I've read, I think, there's some that are like, oh, either majority of that was really good, or majority of it was bad, or it was like, all of this was really good until the last one, and it just didn't hit me as much.
Yeah, I think there's a consistency in this volume that isn't present in a lot of comedy shows, or a lot of comedy series, episodic kind of. I think you really this isn't something you should pick up if you're not interested. Like, if you hear the premise of the manga and you're interested, then pick it up. But if you're not, if it like doesn't, the subject matter doesn't really get you, then it's probably not going to be your kind of show. It doesn't kind of manga. It doesn't blow you away with anything unexpected. Like, you know what it's about, and you know what you're going to get, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's still a good experience, and it's a short read for sure.
I kind of do wonder if that's because, I don't want to say they're tropes, but just like, I think the first things, maybe not the first things, but some of the things that you would think of being like, you know, because he's like an ex-Yakuza, you kind of thinking what might happen, or, you know, it feels like this is like the kind of like the no-brainer type story ones. So I'm wondering if they did that purposefully in the first volume so that they could get into more unique stuff, or if that's just like, yeah, no, that's what this is going to be. Like, we're going to focus on, you know, really, for lack of a better term, like living it up with that type of, you know, tactic of telling it. But to me, I don't know. I did like some of the, like you said, like there's moments where it either gives, I guess, glimpses or teases of how him and his wife met. There's definitely some progression that carries over to a certain extent with Masa and him, you know, having this guy that follows him around or shows up periodically. So that's something that I liked those moments. I just hope that that's not going to be, you know, the same level going forward. I hope they expand upon it a little bit, but I don't know. I think definitely playing the Yakuza games makes me like this a little bit more, just because there definitely feels like, I don't want to say it steals anything from there, but I just think Japan's look on Yakuza and how they translate that into their media is pretty much across the board the same, so it has like the same feeling, which can be good and bad, but I think overall it lands pretty well.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it has its pluses. I think the author, and I don't know how long running the series is, but I think the author is still trying to decide how the two worlds intersect. I feel like in certain skits, it's like super easy to like talk about his past, and like the characters that know about him are just like there, and he's like very visible. And I think that's like very different from other shows where they kind of just like allude to the past, but it doesn't like affect so many different. Like here, I'd say like 3 skits he gets recognized, and that's like important to like the skit, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think the author's still trying to decide how much the two lives are going to connect, and I think probably, I don't know. Personally, I like more when he's just at home and it's just the comedy of a guy like him. You know, being a house husband. I like probably the moments I like the best.
Definitely the standout for me is the Roomba. I can definitely relate to that. Having one myself and having trouble with it recently, I was laughing probably harder than I should have when reading that section. I also do like the reasoning why he's such a good house husband is because he's got such so much experience cleaning up or disposing of trace evidence.
Yeah, that is funny. That's why he's good at cleaning up. That one's good. But yeah, besides that, you know, what you see is what you get. It's not going to blow you away, but it's a fun time. It's a nice read, and I think it's something that if you hear the premise and you're interested about it, you should get it. If you are undecided, you can definitely wait and see. Maybe we'll review more volumes and see how it, you know, turns out. But it's definitely something that you should look at and consider.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to sum it up. I would give it a worth it just because, like Michael has iterated, just, you know, really liked what I saw, just worried about where it might go or how much I'll get bored of it if it keeps the same formula. But, like you said, definitely the ones that he's at home or, you know, like with his wife. I think the last one he was like with his wife right in the mall. Mm-hmm. I liked that one too a lot. Some of the other ones, you know, where he's dealing with some of the other people, it's like, you know, I could take that or leave it. But yeah, what would be your rating?
Yeah, it'd probably be worth it as well. We really just have to see what happens in the future and, you know, keep you posted.
Okay. Well, I believe there's 4 or 6 volumes of this, so I will try to pick them up as soon as possible. We do have more manga coming, though. We need to get the next one of Cells at Work Code Black. I really am not looking forward to the last volume of Danmachi Liu, but we will be getting that as well. And then, there's a couple other surprises in there. So we won't give away everything we have planned. But that is it for now, though. So we will see you guys later. I don't know. If you want to follow us, you can do that. I don't like saying it. You can find it if you
subscribe, comment, whatever.
Yeah, all that YouTube garbage that people tell themselves.
Later, addicts.